Found a little something to play in the beginning here.
Okay.
Do you remember this at all? Something that you were a part of?
Is this the one with me and Try? Was Try on there?
This was a documentary that came out in like '99
Oh,
about hip hop around
like,
here.
I can't tell with the. I thought it was a track about to come on. Oh, you talk about Minneapolis Massive?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Figured I'd play a little bit of that. Yeah, man. You're the first scene, the very first scene that kicks off the whole shit.
That's funny.
I won't curse 'cause this is a documentary.
Who's that young man right there?
Wow.
It's wild to think that this was 20 years ago.
Is that older? Wow. Okay.
20 years now, man.
I was driving my what was that? I forgot what kind of car that was. Impala? No. Chevy something. Yeah, that was my car we were driving in.
So, whatever happened to wheatgrass?
Wheatgrass.
Organized grind with Oracle Uno.
I'm trying to think the
Recorded
last
live
time I seen that
at
homie.
Grapefruit
He's
Studios
around.
in
Yeah.
South Minneapolis.
That's what's up. That's what's
He's
up.
getting in. I think, like you said, it's like 20 years ago. It's like people getting grown, you know.
Yeah, man.
Doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Yes, y'all. This is Organized Grind, the podcast with Oracle Uno, episode 22. We got a very special guest in the building. Goes by the name of Unicus.
Yo, UnicusHarry in the place.
That's right. Throw the House.
Yep.
Just dropped their new single.
Yep.
Called Trip the Light.
Trip the Light.
You want to speak on that a little bit?
Single video. Yeah, Throw the House is myself, UnicusHarry, and Natalie Fine of More Than Lights fame. It was produced by Jellyfish.
Okay.
You know, he played keyboards and saxophone for More Than Lights.
Dope.
Pretty much the whole album is it's instrumentals. You know, like musicians came in, but Josh actually made the tracks. You know, and then had musicians come in and replay them. You know, so
Dope.
but overall, like producer in the sense of like putting things together. He's the producer of Throw the House. It's self-titled album. Actually coming out May 6th.
Dope.
So a few days from today.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you for being on the show today. We're going to get into some history. I know you have a lot of it, probably have a lot of good stories and stuff to share. But to kick things off, why don't you talk about how did you get involved in that documentary that just played?
The
there?
Minneapolis Massive.
Yeah, man. Well, why don't you speak on that?
Man, just knowing some of the homies. I'm trying to think of my man's name, Wolf, and Wheatgrass. I feel like there was somebody else that I'm probably not naming that was involved in making that, but just from being in the scene and knowing some of the homies, and they're like, we're doing this documentary, if you want to be part of it, and I didn't realize like the first scene was gonna be me, like in the concrete salad, like
yeah, man.
When people talk about that documentary, it makes me feel good. Like if it just pops up anywhere, it's like I'm there. Like with everybody they included in that documentary, I feel like myself, Kanser, Interlock, like we have a vital part in this scene.
Definitely.
And for him, he touched on a lot of people and things that made this scene grow. And I'm fortunate I was part of that, in that moment to be captured.
Yeah, man.
So people know in 20 years,
For
now
sure.
they're like, oh, okay, so you've been here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't just come out of nowhere. So.
Yeah, that was an amazing time within hip hop here. That was about the time that I was starting to come outside and see the scene and the graffiti and the rapping
Yeah, you probably
and
were
the
like 12,
DJs.
right?
Yeah, man. I was maybe
You were
like
a
around 11,
a
12,
young
around
buck.
that time. But that's when the influence was really starting to soak in, and I was just in love with everything. And there was something really magical about maybe like 99 to 2004, 5 maybe. That yeah, it's just magical. But hey, let's kick things off. Start at the beginning here. Where where do you come from? And how did you wind up here?
Okay. Well, I was born in Haiti.
Okay.
And I moved to the United States 1985, actually. Landed in Brooklyn, New York. Lived there for a few months with my uncle, and then my family moved to Connecticut, which I spent 7 years in Connecticut.
Okay.
And around 88, I try to remember things in a hip hop sense.
Sure,
So
sure.
so 85 I moved, like just I'm a little Haitian kid, I barely know English. Just just trying to adapt to my environment. When I moved to Connecticut, there's a lot of Haitian. There's a good Haitian community, the whole East Coast pretty much. So I was surrounded by my people. So that was a good thing. I had family, friends, met people. So as I got older, living in Connecticut, going to school, my brother's 3 years older than me, so he got into hip hop.
Okay.
There's like we had stations from New York, like we live 45 minutes, so we got
Yeah.
all the stations, WBLS, Kiss FM. For those who don't know, those are, I guess they're still around, but they don't really play hip hop like that. But before Hot 97,
Yeah,
all
man.
that. So I come from that era,
Sure.
mid-'80s. My brother's like making copies of tapes,
Okay.
listening to radio shows, and he's taping stuff, and
Sure.
he's getting into it. And to be honest, like, my family is like religious, so they were like, no world music,
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my brother was kind of doing something he shouldn't be
Okay,
doing,
yeah.
because they were like, they shun it. And me being, mama's boy,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like with my parents, like, yeah, this rap stuff, forget that,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, a couple of years later, I'm just, he's making these tapes, I'm listening to him, and I'm just like gravitating towards it,
Yeah.
And yeah, like, so 88, around 88,
Okay.
I just got, I don't know, I got the buzz, man. I saw Special Ed.
Okay.
I saw, I got it made. Mm-hmm. Like, I was itching, like all these things were happening that I was just like, Big Daddy Kane was a real big influence.
Sure. Can you remember kind of what the first experience was when you were like, what is this hip hop thing?
Well,
or was it a song or?
Honestly, like, in Haiti, like, obviously hip hop came, and like, I tell this story all the time where like, the one thing I try to do was the worm,
Okay.
Like, as a little kid, I remember like the older guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what hip hop they were playing. I can't tell you.
Okay.
Like, this is, 83, 84 or whatever. And I'm doing the snake on a gravel floor, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the older dude's like, yeah, do that thing, So I was aware of hip hop, but I couldn't tell you what song, but
Sure.
the wave was happening.
Sure.
And then like, moving here and like I said, listening to these stations.
Yeah.
But I want to say like one of the earlier songs or groups I kind of heard was like EPMD.
Okay.
Like I remember like, yeah, you guys to chill and all stuff like that.
All right.
But there was a lot of stuff playing. Like 85, you have LL Cool J's around, Run DMC's around. You
Sure,
know?
sure.
So there's not one specific song or whatever that was just like, I know it was just around.
Yeah.
It was just around me, But like I said, seeing special ed, being a 16-year-old kid,
Yeah.
and I'm like a year or two younger than this dude.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? And out of all my friends, like nobody was really into hip hop. They weren't trying to do it. They listened to it, but one day I was just freestyling. Like I said, I'm like a church kid.
Yeah.
So I'm hanging with my friends, and like I just made this corny little freestyle about Taco Bell or something. It's loosely I kind of remember some words, and then one of my boys was like, "Oh, is that?"
Yeah.
It might have lasted like 10 seconds of a freestyle, but they were like, "Whoa,
Yeah, man.
what's up with this?" And from that, I just went to the crib and try to write some stuff.
Okay.
And I actually made like those stop tape, pause, stop and pause, whatever.
Yeah.
I found a like I said, my brother was recording stuff, so we had a bunch of tapes with random songs, and I found this song. At the end, there was just no words.
Okay.
And I just rewound it, looped it.
Yeah, man.
And so I made like, I don't know, it was like a minute long little beat.
Yeah.
and just try to write my little raps on there. I actually made, I'm so mad at myself, but I had a Ghostbusters soundtrack.
Okay.
tape.
Okay.
I taped over it. I made all these like 1 minute and a half songs.
Yeah.
Over it, and I'm like so proud of myself. And this girl, I played for her, and she's like, "Oh, let me borrow it." Guess what? You could guess what happened, right? Don't know where it is till this day,
Right,
2019. Right. But I wish I had that tape so I could play it back just to hear because I have no recollection of that. That's the beginning.
Okay.
That's me at 14,
Nice.
and so
Yeah.
and that's kind of where the bug happened.
Dope.
My little tape. Actually, when this is 89. When she lost the tape, it kind of like sucked the energy out of me wanting to do it, and I actually did not mess around with hip hop or anything.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much. So 89 to that's the beginning of me wanting to write and and making stuff, and once the tape got lost, I'm like, I'm done. Like, right?
Damn.
And 91 comes around.
Okay.
And I actually move. I'm in Connecticut,
Sure.
Stamford, Connecticut. I was on this area called the South End.
Okay.
And I stayed in the South End, but I just moved across the I don't know, half a mile away. And some reason, like, I can't tell you what sparked it again, but I just started writing again. I just started, listening to different music. So I'm trying to think, because I said EPMD earlier.
Yeah.
I want to say this is probably when that came into the fold, because it might have been on their second album.
Okay.
But I know You Got to Chill was just influential.
Yeah.
Because I remember like redoing it. I changed the words or whatever.
Right.
And it just like sparked me to wanting to write again and make songs. I actually made one song before I left Connecticut. Once again, never got a copy of it. With like somewhat a producer,
Okay, right.
Because my brain started going like, I wanna really do this thing, not just be at my house, pause tapes and rapping into headphones or whatever.
Right.
Like I want,
Yeah.
so
Rapping in the headphones. That's classic.
this guy, yeah, right,
Yeah, man.
like the church I went to, this kid, his mom went to the church there and somehow like heard about his rapping, and was like, oh, my son makes beats, and we got together and we recorded one song. I always remember this song in the sense of, because he sampled the Association, Forever My Love. You probably heard that at some point digging in the crates.
Yeah.
But it's just dope. I don't know if it's it's a guitar lick, it's like, or a bass lick. It's like doom 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 doom. Like it's just I've heard no one's sampled it, so I always feel like I want to do it, even if it's
That'd be
been
dope.
sampled.
Yeah, right.
like it's something I rapped on originally. So, like that
Yeah.
might maybe
Yeah.
Oracle Udo.
Hey,
like,
man, we can make that
fight
happen.
that album.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that happened. I think that happened at the tail end of 91, beginning of 92.
Okay.
Because I moved to Minneapolis in summer of 92.
So this was after high school?
Oh no, I'm still in high school.
So you're still
Yeah.
in high school when you move?
Yeah, I'm in end of junior year
Okay.
is when I moved to Minneapolis.
Okay.
So I started my senior year in a whole new school. It's like
Yeah.
a TV show. Like
So what school did you go to when you
when I
got
came here, South High.
Okay, South High.
I'm a Tiger.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is at the point now where you've recorded a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to take it seriously at this point. Have
To a certain degree,
have you rapped live yet at like shows? Has that
Nope.
happened yet?
So
All right. So what was the first show or the first live rap performance that you performed?
wow, that is a awesome question.
Yeah.
I have to still go back in my head about this.
Please do. We got the
wow.
time. Yeah.
What was the official?
Like the first time you're grabbing that microphone and there's eyeballs just watching you.
I mean, when I moved to Minneapolis, like ciphers were a big thing.
Okay.
So before grabbing the actual microphone and being on stage, so I was in a lot of ciphers,
Okay.
rapping around town. But I remember actually being at South
Okay.
when we had our dances,
Yeah.
actually Slug from Atmosphere, he used to DJ like some of these high school dances.
Sure.
And one of them, I think he had a mic. That was his mic, and he actually like opened the mic up
Okay.
to like let people rap. And I
Yeah.
remember that was definitely one time, but I don't know if it's in the chronology, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's
whatever
fine.
word it
Yeah.
is. If it was the first time per se,
Sure.
or close
Around there, that was the
I was
beginnings.
definitely in high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
So was South High, did that play a big part in connecting you with other people that were into hip hop too?
oh yeah, good question. So I'm at South, and like I said, I don't know anyone here.
Yep, the new kid.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I happened to have art class, and the art teacher was like pretty chill and just let people do whatever. So cats had the radio playing, they had 89.9 on.
Yep.
And either you're doing your art or you're just hanging out, whatever. I just saw these cats kind of around the radio, and I don't know if there's hip hop playing or just music in general just playing, and they're just like kind of rapping, and I'm like, I kind of approached them and just like seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
And, we started chatting, and I ended up meeting my homeboy. He used to go by Misha, but his name is Ishmael. We exchanged numbers, and just like, I'm into the rap and blah, blah. And like during, like weekends, this dude's like bringing me to parties, where people, like I said, the cypher was heavy. Like
Yeah.
92.
Okay.
The cypher was heavy, like every party you went to. So this dude knew people, he knew about parties. And so I would be hanging out with him. And I believe that's when I met Mesh. Like,
Okay. All
so
right.
this cat, Ishmael, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
they're all part of the MAS crew, which is the graffiti crew. So like you got Mesh in there, and just like, so I actually met Zach too.
Okay.
He was a freshman. It came a little later, but he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Oh, okay.
And Ishmael is like, his big homie. So through Ishmael, he's like,
Yeah.
it's like got the little homie Zach comes around, whatever, and so I'm just meeting these key people that later on would, because I don't know, Zach's a freshman in high school, whatever.
Right.
I don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
further down.
Yeah.
But you know, this homie, when I graduated, I ended up moving to Brooklyn Park. My parents was like, "We're moving to Brooklyn Park."
Okay.
And you know, I didn't really make a decision to like go to college and stuff. So I'm like, I'm working, taking a bus. Like, I hardly knew people. I'm like living here for a year. I hardly knew that many people.
Sure.
So no one wants to come to Brooklyn Park that lived in Minneapolis back in '92.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah.
it was hard to like get with people, you know, unless I took the opportunity to get on the bus and come all the way to Minneapolis, which seems funny right now. Like, it's not that far.
Right, but back then.
Yeah, I don't know Brooklyn Park from
right,
Minneapolis.
right.
Like, where am I?
Yeah.
You know? So, actually, that summer is when I really, like, started, like, recording. Like, Mesh had stuff. So, like,
Sure.
I remember going over there and, like, just freestyling over beats. Like, I made a whole song just freestyling, which was something, you know, like just came up with a chorus and just had the verses, you know, recorded like that.
So Mesh was the one who had the first gear that you really started to work on.
Oh yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
Okay. What was his studio like back then?
I know he had the Kai. Was it one of those MPCs?
Okay, sure.
I forgot which. Not the. What's the popular MPC?
Like the 2000 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't
hear
think it
that a
was that
lot.
one, but it was one of the early MPCs, and you know, the usual 4-track.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, because I mean back then, I mean it wasn't
you didn't
wasn't
there was no
common
computer.
when people, you know, for people to have studio gear
Right.
back then.
Yeah. It was pretty simple.
Yeah,
know?
yeah, man. So let's see here. I guess we'll go to a commercial break soon. We're already doing pretty good. We're 22 in, but I suppose so. At this time, you're out of high school. You're still trying to connect. Is this when like when did the hip hop thing really start to take its next level as far as the following starting to gather, like the core group of people that you started to work with?
Right.
What was that kind of transitional step? Because it does seem like it went from those ciphers and parties to things people started to figure out formulas, and it was
Right.
like this camp had the formula of this
Right,
that
right.
camp had that formula, and people were trying to figure it out
Right.
while still collaborating, but you know, people are trying to make their own roads.
Right.
What was that transition like?
So it's 94. Actually from Brooklyn Park,
Yeah.
I moved to like 60th and Nicollet, which is close to being
Sure.
Richfield, but it's not. It's
Yeah,
Minneapolis.
It's on the cusp.
So I'm back in Minneapolis, right? I'm living over there. You know, just still checking with Ishmael and Mesh and stuff like that. I'm not sure what happened with like equipment wise. I don't know if Mesh, maybe he didn't have his equipment at this time. Like there was definitely a moment of like, you know,
Stagnance,
yeah,
kind of
stagnant. Like you know,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Sure.
So I'm actively thinking and looking for producers. You know, like just like I need music. What's going on?
Yeah.
So this story's been told in like Zach's book, you know, the hip hop history, and I go to this little record store off Nicollet, like down the street from my crib, and I'm like looking around, and I look at the board, and it's like producer looking for rappers, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, cool. I just rip a piece, you know. I'm thinking, yeah, we had landline, so I had to go home, and you know, I hit up this number, and this homie Ant answered the phone, you know, and I'm like telling him, yo, I rap, blah blah blah, you know. I don't remember the exact conversation, but you know, he's like, yeah, come on through and
Yeah.
see what's up. So that was the beginning of that, like as far as meeting someone
Sure.
that had equipment, like
So when you're like walking up to this house, like, you know, this is back then, so you had to go home, actually pick up the phone,
Right,
call.
call.
I mean, when you're walking up, like, do you have any idea of like what this guy looks like, or like who is this dude, or like, you know, like could this be shady, or you know what I'm saying, like. Like, what was that experience like as you're like walking up to the house, you know?
I don't remember the
Or
the
apartment
conversation that good, but I think I got a good sense talking to him.
Sure.
That I didn't
Good
feel
vibe.
like this is some weird, you know. So I, you know, like
Yeah, that's so dope, man.
Whenever it's like hip hop, like I've always said this, like hip hop became like kind of like a second family, like because you know when I was in high school, all the years. I was somewhat a loner. Like I wasn't, you know, in no particular clique.
Yeah,
I didn't play sports till like my senior year at South.
sure.
So like I wasn't in that no jock thing. I wasn't with the nerds. I wasn't with no one. Like I knew a handful of people from different sectors, if you want to call them that. So when I found the hip hop people, you know, I was like, okay, this is me. This is my people.
Yeah.
And like for a long time, I've said this. Like, I never wanted to call myself an MC until I became an MC.
Sure.
Like those pause tapes, 14, 15, 6. Like, I wasn't calling myself an MC because I wasn't. You know,
Yeah.
I want to be like,
Yeah.
no, I rap, sure, but like, I want to be known as an MC when I became one.
Yeah.
And like earn stripes, whatever. But
For sure.
back to Ant. So we, you know, when I go to the crib, like,
Actually, wait. Let's go
Yep.
to the
You-
break,
Yep,
and
yep.
then we'll
We
come
can do
back
that.
and we'll talk about Ant and move from there.
Okay.
All right. This is Organized Grind, the podcast. Oracle Uno chilling with Unicus, episode 22. Hey, what's up, world? This is Oracle Uno checking in to let you know that I just released a brand new EP entitled Speech Therapy. It's entirely self-produced, and you can now get it at oracleuno.com. That's ORIKALUNO.com. Thank you for listening.
It's all unraveling, I feel it in my abdomen. About to take a swim in a bottle from the cabinet. Full throttle, hollowing the content of the glass I sip. Too much pain, yeah, the shit ain't even masking it. Okay, got a few loose things I need to tighten up. Do it in the dark before the sky tries to brighten up. Maneuver in the shadows, that's all I'm really used to. Most people always try to find a way to use it. Feeling for a drive, I'm in need to feel alive. 95 miles per hour on a 94 ride. Pissing off passerbyers that are forced to coincide with me. Middle finger up to the punk on the side of me. Rough around the edges, disrespecting the guest list. Use all my drink tickets and forget the set list. I've seen it all before and you ain't impressive. I ain't shit either, yeah, I've learned that lesson. Had it go in the wind. Got my windows open, I ain't holding it in. I try to take it slow, but the motion's intense. It happened too fast, can't get over the bends. Let it go, let it go, let it go in the wind. Got my windows open, I ain't holding it in. I try to take it slow, but the motion's intense. It happened too fast, can't get over the bends. Let it go, let it go. My vision hazy, yeah, I know I'm living crazy though, drowning in
Yes, yes.
nice. New one?
Yeah. New EP out there. A little commercial for that. This is Organized Grind, the podcast with Oracle Uno, chilling with Unicus, episode 22. From Haiti to Connecticut to Minneapolis. Started rapping at South High. Picked up a flyer with the numbers ripped off that number. Gave this number a call. Walking down the street. Turns out to be Ant's place. That is where the story has led us right now. So Unicus was just about to get into to what those first experiences were like working with Ant.
Yeah, so I'm trying, like, Ants move so many times. I'm trying to think, like, that first spot, I believe it was in the basement. Just like walking down there and just seeing wall-to-wall records. Like,
And this was like what year again?
this is 94.
And so he already had
I'm
the wall
talking
of
about
records.
crates, bro. Lined up the walls.
Yeah.
And this cat has a keyboard and sonic keyboard, 4-track, turntables, microphone. I'm trying to like journey in my brain right now, just like
man.
just to take it in, like what I saw.
Yeah.
And he was married at the time. I remember meeting his wife. She had a couple of kids. Like she basically like just stayed out of his way. Like it's like you do your thing. It's all good. Like as far as I knew, like when you live with a woman and doing this music thing, like I've grown to like to learn those type of things.
That's a whole
and like you gotta be on somewhat on the same page or whatever.
Hell yeah!
But
we should talk about that another time as well.
That's
just
another
do a whole
podcast
hour right there. Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, just talking to him, and he told me he was from Colorado, and he actually worked with another rapper, but I think they made a few songs. It just wasn't clicking. Whatever the reason, he was around.
Yeah.
But I came in. I'm on some backpack hippity hop, and I think I want to say he was excited, like just to meet another person, and not just the same cat that he was rapping with, and like the first meetings is just like him playing beats and just a lot of freestyling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was just, I holler at Ishmael, like, so he's coming over. So like now I'm adding to his roster of like, oh, he had one rapper that he messes around with sometime, and then now 3 pretty much now. So like the first few times was just freestyling, man. Like no song structures or any of that. And I have to credit Ant for like counting bars, like because that's something he knew. He's been doing it. That he knew, like we just come in there rap. He's like, no, like listen to how the beat. This is one bar, 2 bar, like
man,
just like a lesson. He's a few years older than me, so he's definitely like big homie status in that sense, like, and just being into hip hop from way back, and like when I got into hip hop. He's definitely was into hip hop before me, but like it's the same lineage, it's not like I was a little kid, like I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So we had some of the same kind of the likes, the people we knew we liked, and from there, I think I ended up moving. I moved to St. Paul.
Okay.
I can't really. 94, 95. I ended up moving to St. Paul. And by this time, I met Musab.
Okay.
So, me, Ishmael, Musab became a group together.
Okay.
It was called the Labyrinth, and I ended up moving with Musab to his crib in St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
So we got Ant producing. I'm living with Musab, so we're right there.
Yeah.
We're writing songs.
Yeah.
Ishmael, we always hooking up together and stuff. So at this point, we're starting to make songs. It wasn't just freestyle sessions for hours and hours.
Sure. So were there like conversations about like what you were planning to do with these songs, or was it just, all right, now we're making these songs and we'll kind of see what happens at this point?
There wasn't a concrete conversation per se, but I think by this time Headshots might have put a tape out. Yeah, there was definitely a Headshot, probably the first one.
Sure. Locally, was there a lot of people making noise yet, or was it still the waters were kind of calm?
Oh, I mean, the pack was around.
Okay, all right.
The pack was. So I mean, that's all Headshots.
Sure.
So like pretty much anybody that of Headshots was making noise.
Okay.
Like your partner. Dispute, like you know.
Yeah, man. So, did you get a chance to be at a lot of these shows?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
so
where were the shows happening in like '95 or '96?
95, we're jumping a little ahead though.
Oh, all right, all right. Sorry about that.
Let's stick with with 94.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think, because I know when we played as Labyrinth, we played at McAllister College.
Okay,
It
cool.
was like one of the first shows.
Wow.
But I know Headshots were doing shows at Mighty Fine. Yeah, Mighty Fine Cafe was happening.
Okay.
At that time, Riverside Cafe. So I didn't want to jump too.
Sure. Nope. Yeah.
I
that's
definitely
fine.
know what 96 was doing.
Okay. Okay.
You
Cool.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause I know that pretty
Sure.
pretty clear, but
All right. So at this time, then the pack was out. You know what I'm saying? You guys were in the lab with Ant.
Yep.
So what was happening then after that? As
So,
far as like you
yeah.
guys were talking at this point about taking it up, you know, like taking
yeah,
it
like
more on
to be honest, like we had a handful of songs,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe the direction was to like, yeah, let's put something out.
Okay.
You know, and I remember I had a little plug, like ended up going to KFAI,
Okay.
radio. I knew.
Yeah.
Actually, no. This is a funny story. I'm downtown. There used to be that is it the city center? They used to have
City Center.
Yeah, they used to have this record shop, and like I think it might have been with Musab. Like we're just walking around, hanging out, and I end up buying something, and I'm like paying for it, whatever. And this girl was at the register, and I was just like, did one of the slick like, like give me your number or whatever.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on the radio.
Nice.
I'm gonna
nice.
be on the radio
Check
tonight.
me out.
But the funny thing, the person that hooked me up with the radio situation, she was friends with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Downham happened to be the DJ at
okay.
KFAI, and we went up there. I think we had like a couple of the songs,
Sure.
the Labyrinth song, and she played a song or two, and had a little interview with us. So
Tight.
like that was cool, like for early,
Hell yeah,
early
man.
on to like get some radio love.
Yeah, man. That's a good
and,
look.
I use portions of that when we put out our first tape, the Cancer.
Okay.
Cancer Now. Like there's clips
Tight.
on there. If people go back and listen to Now, like
Sure.
that's from the radio spot.
Okay. So when does cancer start becoming a thing? Is this in the near future?
So 95 so we're on point right now.
Okay, cool,
So,
cool.
So I'm rolling with Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
It's me, Musab, Ishmael, Anton the beat.
Yep.
Zach and his people, like his friends, they're coming together and they create Cancer at South High. I'm not at South anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they create Cancer.
Right.
And so basically, not like formally, it was like Labyrinth and Cancer were like rolling together.
Okay. Yeah.
We're bringing Zach over, to like meet
Yep.
and record.
Yep.
So that relationship is happening, and then Zach and Otaro were like a separate group. They were called Coma.
Okay.
So there was Cancer, Coma. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
That's some hip hop shit right there.
yeah, and I think Mesh was at that time. I think he's in Cancer. So 95, 95, end of 95, end of 94, 95, still Labyrinth. We're doing stuff. Like I said, we did the McAllister show. That was like, actually, I think Atmosphere might have been headlining that show.
Okay. What was the crowd like there?
Handful of people.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
It's decent. I mean, like I said, Headshots were already putting tapes out, so
Okay.
they had definitely had energy out here.
Sure.
You know, but my time with Labyrinth, like we saw some decent stuff. Like we never put a actual album out, you know, but they actually Rhymesters had I'm trying to remember the name of. They had it at the Cedar Cultural Center.
The whole.
No,
No, I'm thinking of something else. My fault.
man, it.
I was thinking of Kaufman, not Cedar.
Yeah, I'm forgetting, but no, there was a showcase. Yeah, the hip hop showcase
Okay.
that they did. I think it might have been the first or the second one, but they brought Boot Camp Click,
Oh.
and that was at Cedar Culture Center, and so like pretty much all the local groups,
Yeah.
kind of like it was like battle of the bands,
Okay.
type of thing. So
Yeah.
like everybody went on, did a song or two, and then like people voted, you know.
Okay.
And I remember, so Labyrinth was part of that because like we became, you know, with Ant and just knowing people, like knowing Slug, and so we were pretty close with Headshots, like, you know, Abstract Pack. Like I feel like we were like the cousins, you know, like Headshots
Sure.
were doing their things, like, oh, come on, Labyrinth, yeah, like,
Yeah.
So we got put on the showcase, the hip hop showcase. I'm trying to think, I don't remember who won, but it was like, if I could bring people back to these times, man, it was like,
Yeah.
I remember like the back room, right, the green room
Sure.
of the Culture Center, just like, I remember at one point sitting there, and I didn't hit the greenery that much, but I remember multiple blunts being passed around, right, just in the back, just people just blazing. I remember coming out of there just like into the main room,
Yeah.
just blazed out of my mind, you know,
Yeah.
and just like seeing all these people, just like, I mean, Boot Camp Click was in town, you know, like, and that was our dudes, like, you know, just being in Minnesota not that long, I was definitely leaning on the East Coast as far as like the music I
Yeah.
dug, you know. I was open to the West, but it was definitely my East Coast stuff.
So, as far as your like rhyme style and everything like that, when you were first starting to rap and stuff like that, who were some of the key influential MCs that like you kind of heard and you were like,
Right.
that's the one right there. You
know, I skipped one little thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I when I said I kind of was like chill on rap.
Yeah.
I want to say my sophomore year, junior year, around there. I had a teacher, like, you know, I told him I was into rap, whatever, and this, I don't know how old he was, but older white male, kind of geeky looking, you know, like teacher. Dude brings me a tape, straight up. He brings me like, hey, check this tape out. I got this hip hop stuff. I'm like, what? I take the tape and it's the Fat Boys. I want to say there was something else like on the other side. It's like a mixtape he made.
Okay.
But I remember the Fat Boys being on there, and it might have had like a Sugar Hill Gang, but just like to him, like the early hip hop, which I kind of miss because I came here in '85. If you think about it, like
Right.
I don't really have people. I'm hearing stuff on the radio that's current, like 85, 86, 7, 8, you know, 88.
Yep.
So I'm hearing this stuff as I'm here,
Right.
but they're not playing that song. You know, they're not playing Sugar Hill Gang in 1985 on the radio.
Right.
No.
Right.
You know, so
Yep.
how do you know this?
Yeah.
So this teacher gives me this tape, and that actually
Wow.
adds to like the catalog of like, oh, I kind of did my research.
Yeah.
A little backwards. You know, because I already knew what was on the radio.
Yeah.
I was hearing Tribe Called Quest make promos on the radio
Right.
before they ever dropped an album.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure my brother has a tape somewhere of those things. You
Yeah.
know, the little promos. You know, so I'm hearing stuff. I'm hearing, like I said, special ed. I'm hearing one big influence is definitely Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
Smooth Operator
Yeah.
comes out. I'm a freshman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hear this song. I hear the album. I hear this dude rapping. I'm just like, how?
Right.
How? I'm like rapping, you know, elementary.
Yeah, Kane.
I'm rapping mad elementary, and I hear Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
and my brain just goes, the best, the yes, like all that, like
Yeah, man.
which is crazy when you hear him talk about how he was influenced by Grandmaster Caz, who was
Right.
doing that in the early 80s,
Yeah.
late 70s,
Yeah.
which is, he just perfected it.
There was definitely a key stretch of years where styles were out of control. Like every MC had their own individual style, and you would have never kind of guessed until the MC told you what influenced him, and even then you would hear that and be like, how the hell
did
do
this
you
come-
get this plus this equals you though?
Right.
Like, you know, like there was such an emphasis on style. And when I hear you rap and you know, like Kanser and stuff like that, I can definitely tell that the focus is on that style, on
Yeah.
that technical style, that like flair within the voice and how you
Yeah.
deliver things and the character. Like you can
Yep,
hear that. So we were gonna get into the beginnings of Kanser from.
Yep.
So is that right after Labyrinth then,
Yeah,
or
so-
how does that kind of turn into Kanser?
Yeah, Labyrinth comes, so at one point, Musab, you know, kind of went his own direction.
Sure.
And like, you know, to give him a lot of like props, like he was a heavy, like I said, we lived together. He was a heavy writer.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, cause we would go to Ants together and stuff. And then this dude, I'd be like writing a verse in my room, you know, check with him. He's like, yeah, I wrote like 3 songs. So this dude had, you know, he had songs. So like, you know, he's
Yeah.
going to Ants and Ants like, damn, like,
Yeah.
and I'm coming over here, hey, I got a verse, you know, like, so he was definitely prolific, you know, which, you know, I think that helped me, like seeing him going at it so hard, like push me. I wasn't writing 3 songs a day type, but
Sure.
I was trying to write a song, you know.
Did you and Saab meet through Ant, or did you guys? How did you meet?
I introduced him. I met Musab through the Ethiopian community.
Okay.
I actually had went to high school with a homie, and he was like really tight with them, and we just kind of at a party, you know, just all hanging out.
Yeah.
And met through him, like, and you know, the hip hop connection too.
Okay.
It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we all do hip hop, you know, so
Right.
that, you know, that connected us like that. But yeah, through meeting him and hanging out, you know, when I got Ant's number, obviously, like, I'm gonna bring my hip hop friends
Yeah,
along
man.
to like check things out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so at one point, Labyrinth was just me, Ishmael, and Ant, and around that, you know, I always did solo stuff. You know, before Labyrinth, obviously, I came in to hip hop as a solo person, so I was doing solo songs here and there, some Labyrinth songs, and Kanser was doing their thing, and I remember them approaching me like, you know, you want to be in Kanser, like when I was just kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
You know, like, you want to be, I'm like, nah, I'm good. So like, it's funny, one of the first shows I did with Kanser, it was just, if you see the flyer, it just says Unicus.
Okay.
And then it has Kanser.
Nice.
But that was at, I think, Matthews Park, I want to say. Their gymnasium or
Okay.
whatever. Zach could tell you about that show.
Yeah,
We'll leave that
yeah.
for the Zach episode.
Okay, dope.
But yeah, it was cool to like everybody that was down with Cancer, Verbal Assassins, and then Unicus. You know, so I did that show with them, and I was still on the fence of like, do I want to be in Cancer? I just was like, I just want to be me, you know.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like, so I don't know when, how, but it was just like, hey, I'm good. I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down with y'all, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, me and Mesh actually had a little side group called Altered Entities. We never really like pursued to put an album together, but you know, if you listen to the early Cancer stuff, there's a couple of songs. It's just me and Mesh.
Okay.
You know, we just had a different chemistry.
Yeah.
With like me and him and Zach and I had a chemistry, and them two had a chemistry. Obviously, when we came together as Cancer, you could see how different all three of us were so different.
Right.
That it just created something really cool from, you know, and I'm saying this from what people said to me, like when they heard us, it was just like, and you're like this, and then he goes over here, and you know, like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, man. So Cancer begins.
So Cancer's been around,
Right,
like,
but-
so
yeah.
I joined. I joined late.
Sure.
You know?
So
I-
your Cancer journey begins in the
Yeah.
group at this
like
point.
90, end of 95, 96. So
End
it
of
wasn't that
95,
long
96.
from inception. like,
Right,
'cause
sure.
Cancer formed in 95.
Okay.
You
cool.
know, so I was pretty close to joining
Yeah.
with them.
Okay.
But I was still doing, solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at this point, I want to say Ishmael, we weren't really doing Labyrinth anymore. So
Sure.
I was definitely focusing on Cancer.
Sure.
And so this is 96. So we record now. At this point, we're just recording. You know, now I'm bringing Mesh to Ann, and I'm bringing Cancer
yeah.
to the studio now.
Right.
And I don't know if it was deliberate, but you know, if you ask Zach, I would say the chain started moving of like, oh wait, this person has a tape, this person has a tape. Like, let's make a tape.
Yeah.
So songs were being recorded between 96, 97. Songs are being recorded, and there's starting to be more like emphasis on like making songs, not
Sure.
just like rapping random
Yeah.
things, you know. So if you listen to now, you know, I have a solo song. Zach has it, like, you know, and me and Mesh made a song called Tales, which is, I think that was the only production from Mesh
Oh, okay.
for that tape, because
Wow.
we already made that song.
Yeah.
And then we went heavy with Ant, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, he did the intro, pretty much all the other songs.
Wow, that's dope.
You know, yeah, like, man,
Yeah.
so crazy just
yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah, that's super dope. So you guys are all still pretty friendly at this point. As far as the competition, it's friendly competition because it's of course hip hop, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of flags drawn yet as far as the two crews. So with and I always stutter and I apologize, but as a sign of respect. Interlock. How does that start to formulate? Is this still in the 90s or is this a late 90s thing? Am I going down the timeline again?
It's not too far, because so 96, 97, we drop Now. I'm trying to think.
And that's still like
That-
recorded with Ant,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah,
Ant
now-
production.
Yep.
So there's
and-
still some like cross working here.
Oh yeah, because I mean, God, my memory sucks. But when Overcast dropped, like we opened.
Okay.
Cancer opened
Dope.
for the release party, and I want to say, yeah, I want to say we dropped Now after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
If-
So
if-
like
yeah.
shortly after.
Yeah, because I want to say Overcast was definitely out by when we dropped. So we're Cancer, and we're rolling with different people. You know, we're meeting. Like I met Tri D.
Okay.
I met Tri D 96.
How did you two meet?
I used to see Tri bopping all over the place. I actually, I worked at the Mall of America from end of 93, 94 when I was living in Brooklyn Park. So I would be at the mall, and I used to always see this dude just like walking around with backpacks, knowing he's a hip hopper,
right.
Just that, because I don't want to go on a tangent, but like I've never been like super hip hopped out like that.
Sure.
When people like certain trends and whatever, I just wore what I wore. I did what I did, whatever, But like there's certain people, they just have this hip hop swag, whatever word you want to use, and he's like, there's many other people, but he was definitely, I knew that. Like, I had my little backpack. I'm sure some people would be like, you in that rap thing?
Yeah.
We all had our identity to say, we're down with this thing. And, he had that, seeing him around. But I want to say the official meeting was at Cedar Fest, which never doesn't happen. I don't know if you remember Cedar Fest.
I don't.
But it was a block party that used to happen from probably where the Triple Rock used to be.
Okay.
All the way down to like Washington Avenue on Cedar.
Wow, that sounds fun.
They had like stages, markets, people selling stuff. It was just,
that's cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But 96, I'm walking down Cedar Fest. This is summertime, and I feel like I'm giving a lot of thing. I was under the influence of something. I was shrooming, whatever.
Sure.
So I'm out there, doing my thing, just walking, and like at some point I bump into Try, and he's always rapping, so I'm sure we were like rapping, and then just like started talking. It was like, oh, I've seen you around, yeah, well, just putting the dots together of like, who we know.
Yeah.
We knew certain people. It's like, oh, and think we might exchange numbers or whatever. So he's a homie. Yeah, because actually he almost made it. I feel bad. He almost made it to Now. Like we recorded this song.
Oh shit.
And it just, I don't know, it just didn't work out. So he was definitely there.
Yep.
So we got him, and so I don't want to jump too far, but at some point Zach meets the guys from High Respect.
Okay.
But I feel like that was 97-ish. So like he kind of brought them around.
Sure.
And then
were they still at Central at the time?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. St. Paul Central.
And Try D ended up hooking up with this crew called CMI.
Okay.
Which Odd Jobs, Kill the Vultures.
That's right.
All those guys. I forgot how they connected, but through everybody connecting with different people, and I knew Carnage from around, so like all these people were just meeting differently with each other, and at some point, we just made a conscious decision. We were just like, man, it's cool. We know these people, but like we should like form a crew. We should, like at first I think we were gonna call it like Kanser something.
Sure.
Because like we thought about it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And I think Mesh came with the word Interlock. So like just through knowing these few people, few groups, it's like let's come together as a unit.
Yeah.
And when we go do shows, we all perform. We're all there. Like to be honest, I'm pretty sure we were doing like a headshots. Like look what they got.
Right.
Look what they're doing. They're forming together, and like we could do that too, and have each other's backs and support each other at shows and things of that nature. So that's when that kind of slowly happened.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I mean, at that point, if you look at Ant, at that point, he's working with he's producing for everybody over there as well. And so y'all are trying to work too, but I'm sure that you can see like the workload, or maybe songs weren't, like I can just imagine having to produce for like at one point like 5 or 6 groups now at this point,
Right. Yeah, so I mean, and that was the good thing about connecting with each other to form Interlock. You got Mesh as a producer.
Yeah.
You got the guys from Odd Jobs. There's a couple of producers and DJs.
Yeah.
Within that group, you know, Carnage got his people, like he beatbox, so you got another element. You got High Respect's a full band,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, when you look at it, you're like, there's so many directions
Sure.
to go as far as like bringing the music together, and you know, that's when we decided like to do the Interlock album.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
the first album we did. It was it's like a compilation in
Sure.
a sense, but there was a lot of songs we did together. It wasn't just random songs like just put that on there.
Sure. So at the beginning, did you guys have roles set out for kind of someone to manage the business, or because it seems like from the jump, you guys were very well put together as far as your moves, and
Right.
you guys appeared professional, which is good. But did you have particular people that kind of managed those outside roles?
I mean, we had
and how did you like come up with kind of the roadmap as far as a bunch of hip hop guys? I mean, because there's definitely a separation from a hip hop crew, just a crew of people who love to rap and shit and whatever,
Right.
and then someone who's actually making it work and spreading the name and spreading the word and getting shows and reaching the plateaus that you guys reached, because at one point y'all were very, very popping around here, man.
I mean, I would say like within the group, like Mesh was producing. Mesh did a lot of like covers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so he was really handy with graphic stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So like he was putting it
the
in
marketing
like that.
arm right there.
Marketing for sure. Me and Zach were more on the like promoting.
Sure.
Putting shows together, like
flyering and like the street teamwork.
And Zach had, the early Kanser shows and stuff. Like, he was definitely the guy that would be talking to the booking person. So so he had that aspect down, and like I would help with that more, as far as organizing and talking to booking places. Like, I was, like I said, I'm a few years older than Zach, so I'm like getting into places.
Sure.
You gotta be 21, whatever.
Yeah.
Things like, just
Yep.
And just meeting people that can help out in getting shows, like the Red Sea, like being really tight with the owner and things like that. Like, hey, let us do some rap stuff. Like, cause that's, you have to think about that too. Like, it wasn't easy to just go and do shows anywhere here. Like, we had to do those coffee shops. Like, that was definitely a thing in Minneapolis that people, like, you kind of forget. Like, it's so, Excel Center and Target and wherever right now, you could just do anything.
Right.
But like, if you want to go back think about it, nobody was letting people do hip hop shows except coffee shops.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, like I said, the Mighty Fine, and there was a place over northeast, across the street from 331. It's like an art gallery now,
Okay.
but I can't remember the name of that, but it moved there, like, when Headshots or Rhyme Series, like, they started doing shows up there.
Sure.
Because that was the only places that would let us do shows.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what were some of the key moments as far as the crew is together now? I mean, almost all of the shows that you would see with you guys on there was packed. What were some of the key moments of the crew days where you were like, I think this is actually working for us a little bit here?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, like you said, like, all the shows we were doing, we were bringing people.
Yeah.
So it felt good, and everybody was like releasing music. Like I said, to go back.
Yeah, that's all
to go back to we had Sky Rossi. He was like, as far as like making things professional and
Yeah.
that, like he helped out with that, and and just Booker B. I can't.
Okay, shout out Booker.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that went through the Interlock roster.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? But everybody brought their own energy to it. I think after the first CD, the Interlock CD, like,
Yeah.
just putting that out and just seeing the response, that in itself was like making us go like, okay, we're doing something here.
Yeah, it seems like too, like y'all had the college market pretty much on lock too. Was there a particular
I think that
targeting?
came later. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sure. So in the beginning then, what were some of your techniques to promote? Because once again, there's no Facebook or MySpace at this point. You have flyers. Are you outside of shows with flyers and posters, or how did you manage to bring in the people?
Pretty much that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like posters.
Yep.
Put posters everywhere
Yep.
and be at those shows. Be outside. If people weren't tripping about inside, walk around flyering. Like flyering was the name of the game. And it's funny, I'm so online these days myself when I promote.
Yeah.
And I've been doing stuff at Pimento and just going out there and actually putting posters at Cheapo and things like that. I was like getting that feeling and just seeing like, oh, people didn't stop doing like,
Yeah.
people are still putting their posters up everywhere.
Hell yeah.
You have the few that do flyer hand to hand,
Yep.
that still happens. But yeah, that was definitely the key.
Okay.
Everybody in the crew, we know we have a show. All y'all have flyers. Try to go to as many shows as possible. And like for me, this is around this time I had my daughter, like end of '96. So all this stuff I'm telling you that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm bringing a child into this world and just have a real 9 to 5 job and just trying to keep all those things balanced.
Yeah.
So like as these things were happening for the crew and me, like I had to think on a different level of like, okay, I got a kid. Like none of these people have kids. Like,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and a handful of them are younger than me.
Right.
So they're not even that. What is that to
Yeah.
No one's thinking about that. So it was definitely a interesting time. Like it's when you ask some of these questions, like I feel like there's aspects I wasn't super hands on.
Sure. Yep.
Because I was like dealing with stuff, but like I said, like flyering and promoting stuff was definitely
Yeah.
a part that I did.
Sure. So at the peak of Kanser, I'm not trying to fast forward too much, but
Right.
at like the heights of like of Kanser's success, what are like some of the key shows or just top moments of just like the Kanser shine that y'all got?
I mean, I feel like Bon Appetit was a good look.
Okay. Dope.
When we did that Headspin, like we were pretty much there all the time, and a few of those shows were really, really dope. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how great that sound is. Like if I were to hear Bon Appetit right now, like
Right,
I
right.
don't know. But then we transferred over to Dinky Towner
That's right.
when I started doing I can't remember the name right now. The hookup.
The hookup. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I'm getting old. Yeah. So like
The hookup was
doing
the hookup.
doing the hookup. That was like our new home in
Mm-hmm.
Dinkytown area, and like we did a handful of shows as Kanser at Dinkytown, and I can't even pick
Yeah.
which one. Like I just remember that room being packed
Yeah.
and
for
us
sure.
being on stage.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you have any memories from the Loring Pasta Bar days?
Oh yeah, I mean, so that's a good transition because
Dope. Because there are legends
Right.
that, like, there's legendary stories from so many people about the pasta bar. And
Right.
so I'm curious to see what type of highlights you have.
well, like so before we jump there, like
Okay.
So Bon Appetit happens, and then actually me and Try we're doing open mic thing at the Red Sea.
Okay.
Called 15 Minutes of Fame, and Out of Bounds we're doing it like a year prior, but we came in, we started doing that, and I don't know if it was like at the tail end we might have still been doing it, and then the pasta bar started.
Okay.
It was like Monday night, because I wasn't really paying attention because I was focused on, because our thing was on Mondays, and next thing I know I'm like, oh, there's a bad what hip hop what, so I started checking it out, and the Red Sea thing pretty much was like ending. So I'm like, oh, this is the new hangout, everybody's at the pasta bar, like Zach ended up being like the host, so like
Okay.
right there it's like, okay, well,
Yep.
my crew is there, so
Home base, basically.
yeah, and I think I made it to most of those Mondays.
Okay.
Like I can't say I was there every Monday,
Sure.
but like once again, bring the homie Try D. Like Try D battled a lot. There was,
He was
a lot.
a champion a couple times, right?
Yeah, there was definitely Interlock representation
Sure.
at the pasta bar.
Can you remember a battle that like you'll never forget from those nights? Because I've heard of a lot of matchups. Like the way that I try to describe the pasta bar for the younger people is it's almost like you have all of the bosses from like MK, right? You got like Shao Kahn versus Goro. You got you just had all of the roster
Right.
of whatever game that you could think, fighting game.
And
Just the
come
best
together.
characters and just like match up,
Man, I can't say particular battles, but I can tell you
Like, who were some of the ones that would just dominate sometimes?
whenever Vesh
Okay, yep.
whenever Vesh battled, it was just on.
Yeah, yeah.
Vesh battled, Idea, Try D, yeah, like those stood out. Zach, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Like anytime those names were up there battling, like Vesh, who's like a comedian, like a real comedian
Right.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I just remember going there and just like every time, like he just like to be coming up with this.
Yeah, man.
It's not
Yeah.
written. It's just like right there. He said it right now because he's looking at this dude saying what you got on,
Yeah.
all this stuff. So it's like it was a highlight to check that cat out. To be
Yeah.
honest, yeah.
Who were some of the DJs at the time that would come through and spin?
Ooh man.
Because there was
I
a
know
certain...
Aaron Money was the
Okay,
the
shout out
main
Aaron Money.
DJ. Booker B spun. Man, trying to think. So many people, man.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Beecham might have
Dope.
done a couple of those. But
Dope.
yeah, I mean, I know Aaron Money was the main DJ.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'm forgetting
Yeah.
a few people.
So, I mean, we're already an hour and 14 in, so I don't want to fast forward too much,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just for the interest of the episode, I mean, I feel like we definitely need to have you back on for a second part, that'd be tight.
I'm down. We'll
But
go down the street.
But let's keep on going though. Let's kind of fast forward. At what point? Because it seems like people in cancer started to do their own thing, and things just kind of naturally splintered off from there. So what did you do after cancer? Kind of because it seems like traditional. And my stutter is all fucked up. Traditional methods. There was cancer. There was all of the M words.
Well, yeah.
So, like,
I'll
what was
put
the
it into
transition
perspective.
out
I'll
of
put
there?
it into perspective without going on a tangent. So,
Sure, that's fine.
so yeah, if we fast forward, 2003, we put out It Wrote Itself,
Okay.
and I think that was around the same time Traditional, put out their album, and between that album and Self-Titled,
Yeah.
we were going into the studio talking about because Mesh did all the previous productions and album, and we were like, we're gonna go into this new album getting different producers.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
the whole idea was like get different producers to do stuff. We met More Than Lights, the band,
Okay.
in 2004. So around this time, Mesh decides, he can't really do this.
Sure.
And like, he's got kids and he's just like focusing more on his life, and he joins the army.
Oh wow.
Like, and so he's taking that route, and then but we started a couple of songs. Like I said, like I remember having a beat from Ant, and just kind of like I was like, all right, cool. We have a starting point.
Yeah.
That's one producer, and like thinking about different people. So when Mesh kind of backs out and he's like, he's not gonna be doing it, me and Zach are like, okay, we had the original idea of getting different producers. Let's just stay on that. Like we're messing with the band. So we created a couple of songs with the band. Got all the producers, the Big Jess and Quarters, like just everybody.
That record's great.
The idea. We just wanted the idea to happen, and got with everybody and put that album. That's one of my favorites.
Definitely.
It's like it's like, oh, what happened to Mesh? It's just me and Zach, and that's the other thing we had to step up. You know what I'm saying? We had to step up because Mesh obviously was a vital part of what we were doing, and like all of a sudden we're coming back without him.
Right.
So I feel like we both stepped it up, to drop that album.
Yeah.
But interest of time.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's all good. Yeah.
So in the middle of that, we're doing shows, and it was like Kanser with this live band, and it was always billed as Kanser with More Than Lights.
Okay.
And at some point, the band was like, we gotta, what, we don't want to be like with and this band, like we want to just be More Than Lights. So we made a conscious decision, me and Zach, that we were joining this band called More Than Lights.
Okay.
And that Kanser would remain Kanser, me, Zach, a DJ, a producer, whatever.
Sure.
So it's two separate entities.
Yeah.
So like, in a way, like we didn't stop making.
There's no like breakup.
Yeah,
or
we didn't stop
anything
making
like that.
Kanser stuff, but it was like, this is different. We wanted that. We wanted to go that route. Like we were getting into the festival scene
man.
and things of that nature, and
Yeah.
So that kind of helped out. So we went on a different journey. You know what I mean? From 2005, self-titled album. So we were on this journey with the band, and we're More Than Lights. And it was hard to like kind of tell people that like, no, it's like, no, Kanser still exists.
Yeah, right,
It's just
yeah.
like, I remember having these conversations
rebrand.
to try to break it down to people, and but and this is around the same. Well, this is after Traditional Methods came out,
Okay.
and then Sarah White ended up moving to Brooklyn, and
Okay.
Yeah. That went, it was that was a great moment. I got to be part of that album. I did
Yeah.
a little interlude situation where
Great album.
actually the single, there was a Kanser song on the single. It didn't make it to the album. So
Yeah.
and Mesh was on there because they're still around the time he didn't join the army yet.
Right.
So, but yeah, so boom, More Than Lights, we actually dropped, 2005, we dropped, self-titled. 2008, we dropped, what did we drop? Like Future Retro Legacy? Yeah.
Sure.
So Future Retro Legacy, which was produced all by Big Jess, so we're like, yeah, see, Kanser's still around.
Right.
Like, so we dropped that and more focus on the band again, More Than Lights.
Sure.
Then we dropped our first More Than Lights album in 2009.
Okay.
So we're on that journey. And,
Yeah.
a lot of it is taking our creativeness so like not that we like shun cancer or whatever, but it was just like, we're still rapping.
Right.
It's just on a different vehicle, and Zach drops solo album, so like there's different avenues to go to do things. So
Word.
and I think like I think that's a good thing. Like if you feel something, you're gonna take the time, make some music, you're gonna put it out there. There's nothing about like, no one ever said like, nah, you can't make your own album. You can't, we didn't have those kind of rules and like we're supportive of each other. So
Word.
like, and I'm on the album, like whatever. Like,
Yeah. So I'm gonna get into the second commercial break here soon, but prior to that, I feel like this would make a good segue. It seems like with all of your evolutions throughout your musical career, you've always been good at not chasing the trend, but kind of keeping up with it as far as going from shows to the festival scene. As far as the festivals go, like, could you notice kind of what separates the festival scene from kind of your typical hip hop scene? And like, what were some of the changes that you kind of had to go through in order to transition from, all right, we were this like hip hop group and now we're in the festival
scene,
sphere, because it seems like a whole world apart from hip hop,
Well, what's crazy? Like the way we got into the festival scene was it was organized to call Hip Hop in Harmony, because they never really had hip hop out there in Harmony Park.
Okay.
And Yoni from Pimento.
Sure.
And there's another guy, I can't remember his name right now, but props to him that they organized this thing, and they had like pretty much everybody that was doing hip hop at that time, like Doomtree, us, Unknown Prophets. I want to say Carnage was on there. I can't remember everybody, but they had this big hip hop show out there, and I think we all went out there, and some people caught the bug. Some people, like, we did. Like, we just was like, man, this is dope. We're in the tree. We're camping. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
this is fun.
Yeah, we're like, I straight up like, like me, Zach, the whole More Than Lights crew was just like, okay. And from that moment on, it was just like, Bella started happening, and
okay.
And like, that scene, there's hardly hip hop in the festival scene.
Right.
It's just, but Chris Fadakis, rest in peace. Sorry.
That's okay.
He saw something. He saw something in Zach and Kanser, and just was like, I wanna have you guys, even though this music, it don't really fit. But we were with the band with More Than Lights, so it was like, oh, there's live instrumentation.
Right.
So we kind of slipped in there, to be honest with you. And at the same time, like, I never was like, oh, I'm just doing festivals and I'm not doing show. I was like that actually, that was even before, no, that was after Headspin, but it was before the hookup and all in Dinky Towner. Like that whole time frame with festivals happening, I'm showing up every Saturday promoting this hip hop, all hip hop.
That's right.
Show. So it's like I never really felt like I was in both scenes. I never, when you say like the transition part of it, like I didn't really feel like I had to transition that hard, because I wanted to be in this band, and I still had Kanser, and I still was hosting hip hop. So I never felt like, oh man, I'm not hip hop anymore. Yeah, a lot of hip hop people don't go to the festivals.
Sure.
I think that was to answer like what you asked, the difference.
Yeah, as far as the
It's like
crowd.
they don't really, hip hop people don't really do that. Like the first few times we brought certain individuals, it was like, whoa, like what the heck, But what we try to do when we did shows at like the Caboose or the Fine Line, you know, we had a lot of our release parties or just shows that we always book hip hop there, but like we brought the festy people to be like, come to, because it's all Minnesota people.
Yeah, it's
not like they're randomly coming out of wherever. They're here. They're in Minnesota. So if you tell someone that you saw at a festival, we're gonna be playing at the Caboose in Minneapolis, they're showing up. You know,
right?
So we brought the festy.
Yeah,
we brought the festy to the hip hop. To be honest,
that's dope, man.
You know, because the hip hop didn't really go. So like when we would throw these shows with this band, I would look out into the crowd, or you know, when we got done and just seeing vital hip hop people that I know and I appreciate, you know, seeing them at those shows and being like, all right, you probably won't go to Harmony Park, but you here. That's I'll take that.
That's
like,
dope, man. Yeah, that's super dope. All right, we're gonna go into the second commercial break, and then we'll catch up with what Unicus is up to recently nowadays. I know you have a stretch of shows about to come up and everything, so I'll let you talk about that. And then we'll do some Lightning Gauntlet and wrap it up for now. So this is Organized Grind, the podcast with Oracle Uno, episode 22 with Unicus. We'll be right back.
Yo. Representing the Midwest, this is Truth Maze. Yes, y'all. Check out the new EP. It's entitled The Holy Bible. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Music and elsewhere. Red Pill Music, baby. You see, with my words I can heal or kill. Talk fuck shit or truly keep it real. I can grab up a burner and flame my brother, or he and I can train so we elevate each other. I can talk about pussy all day and all night and not admit I'm toxic and don't treat women right. I can tell everybody how to pop a new pill, or tell the next generation the matrix is real. Cause what I know is I hold the power at will. Still sharp and still, goddammit, it's ill. For mentally the blade I hold, it takes skill. Specially designed so I can kill Bill. And the fake shit in me I need to reveal. That's what a God does with the ability to build. My soul is my rock, my spirit's my shield. My soul is my rock, my spirit's my shield.
Yes, y'all. Organized Grind, the podcast with Oracle Uno, chilling with Unicus on a beautiful Saturday.
Right.
It's nice and sunny out. So my man Unicus here has a bunch going on currently. As he was saying, you can usually find him at the Pimento Jamaican Kitchen and Rum Bar. But he has also just recently put out a single called Trip the Light with a project or a group called Throw the House.
Throw the House.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Throw the House is myself, Natalie Fine, Jellyfish on production. It's remnants of Northern Lights people.
Okay.
And we just put out a new single, Trip the Light. Actually dropped a video yesterday morning.
Yeah, that shit's dope.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Trip the Light video, contemporary dancing going on.
Yeah, man. It's classy.
Right, yeah. We try to be classy.
Yeah, man.
And the album's dropping May 6th.
Okay, so that's That's this Monday.
This Monday coming up.
May 6th.
May 6th.
Where can people find it?
It's going to be on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Apple Music, Spotify,
dope,
SoundCloud, all that fun stuff.
So yeah, and it looks like you're gonna be live here within the next couple of months. Looks like May and
that's all the May.
Okay.
Just May dates that I'm gonna be doing.
It's a busy May right there.
Yeah, I was trying to add more stuff, but nothing's coming in.
Okay, so on the 5th here, which is tomorrow, Sunday, looks like you're playing a cancer show at Pimento.
Yeah, it's a memorial benefit for the homie Chris Videkis. He used to do the Bella Festival out in Harmony Park. He passed away about a week ago. So after May Day, 4:00 at Pimento, just people to come down. It's gonna be real loose as far as like me and Zach. It's not gonna be like a super like set per se. We just want to show our love and support.
Sure thing.
You know.
Speaking of May Day, is that still happening this year?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'd heard that they weren't gonna do it.
I think
Was that a thing?
this might be
at
the
some point?
last year if they
Oh,
don't
wow.
raise funds. But
Wow.
like, you know, we had a benefit at Pimento in March. You know, just try to help
Cool.
out
Cool,
because I
man.
think that was one of the major issues that it wouldn't go on this year because the funds weren't there.
Wow.
So everybody got together,
Yeah, that's
you
beautiful.
know, to try to make it happen at least one last time, if not just keep going, you know.
Right. Yeah, I would love to see that continue.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful event. But anyway, you're also playing May 17th at the Liquid Zoo with Throw the House at Bauhaus.
Yep, at Bauhaus Brewery
Okay.
doing Art of World.
Art of World.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're doing Friday 6:30. We'll be hitting the stage,
Dope.
and yeah, and
Have you been playing the new album yet, or is this the debut of your new music?
this is the debut. We did a few songs a while back when we started writing these songs, but this is the actual debut. There's definitely songs no one's heard.
Dope, man.
So
Pimento Night Live on May 23rd. What's that all about?
Pimento Night Live is something I started a few months ago at Pimento.
Okay.
It's a variety talk show.
Tight.
You know, I'm taking the host,
Very
trying
cool,
to try to do some late night kind of look, but you know, it's really focused on the artist though in the
Okay.
performance. I just wanted to present it in a different manner. You
Sure.
know?
So,
I do
so-
interviews.
Okay.
You know, interviews. The artists do a few songs.
Sure.
We got DJ Snuggles as the
Nice.
house band.
Okay. Dope.
You know,
Dope.
so just
Who have you had on so far?
so I've had two episodes so far. I had Lady Midnight.
Okay.
Trevor Wade, he's a comedian. Desdemona.
Okay.
The last one I had Big Zach and Dahlia
Nice.
from Cancer. We had a dancer, Koma.
Okay.
She was doing some African dancing.
Very
you
cool.
know.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. And the next one coming up, I got Juice Lord.
Okay. Yeah.
Local young hip hop talent coming up. I got Carrie Joy. She's a fiddle player, singer. You know, we were talking about Harmony Park. Like,
Yeah.
she's from that scene, you know, with Wookie Foot. You know,
Okay.
she's super dope. Rico Linquist is a artist.
Mm-hmm.
He paints. He does a lot of painting around town. So he's gonna be doing some live painting.
Cool.
And yeah, we
Dope,
might have
man.
some surprise guests. You never know.
Yeah, man. May 26th, the Revival Festival Park with More Than Lights and Big Zach at Harmony Park.
Yeah, we're back. So, you know, everything's circling right
Yeah,
now.
man.
So, yeah, that's going to be cool.
Dope. May 31st, Fat Hip Hop with King Otto, Gemini 90s Bash. It's my birthday at Pimento.
Yep. So, that's my birthday. It's a free free show. King Otto, I think he might have a guest DJ with him. The flyers and information for that will be coming out. But, you know, if you're not Gemini, you're Gemini, whatever. Just, you know, come through and support.
Dope. Well, yo, let's go ahead and get into this lightning gauntlet. Make sure that you catch Unicus out around town this month because he is going to be out here, and it sounds like he wants to be more active as well. So if you need someone to come through and rock that party, hit him up.
Right?
So here we go. This is Lightning Gauntlet, a little game that I like to play here. It's 3 random questions. Never know what's going to pop up. So that's what makes it fun. So here we go. Unicus with the Lightning Gauntlet. Question number 1. Of all of the little things and simple pleasures in life, which one do you enjoy most of all?
Oh, wow. Breathing.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, breathing is definitely huge. It's really amazing what a deep breath can do for you.
Yes, sir.
You know. All right. Question number 2. If you could safely experience anything at all at maximum speed, example, a downhill skiing run in the Olympics, what would you choose?
Wow. So I'm not going to get hurt.
Not going to get hurt no matter what. Yeah. Any experience you want and you're completely safe.
It's completely safe. Because all those things, they could go wrong. But,
Oh, yeah.
okay. That is a... parachuting out of a plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Is that something that you've thought about?
I've definitely thought about it.
Yeah? Do you think you could do it one day?
I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, man.
How about that?
Yeah. Same here, dude. I feel you. All right, last question. If you were given a large grant to conduct extensive research on any topic of your choice, what would you study?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Man, I would, I guess, origins of man.
Okay. So, like, where we came from as a species?
People have said this and that, but, like, just even deeper connection, you know?
I feel like we came from the water, just because that makes the most logical sense, because there's so...
Biological, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know...
But, like, how?
Right, yeah, exactly. And how long did that take and everything. Yeah. Like, I'm convinced there's stuff under the ocean and stuff that we've never seen and what could be down there and everything. But, yo, man, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, sharing your stories, your experience. You're definitely one of the most influential people in my eyes as far as the history here, because it's like Back to the Future or like a film, to whereas like if you weren't there in some of these certain key moments,
right,
who knows what would have happened to like the space-time continuum as far as local hip-hop and our national presence and at just everything. Like you were there in those moments, and just to have you on and for you to come through and even do this show is a blessing. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Do you have any final words, shout outs, plugs before we get out of here?
You know, just check out Throw the House at Throw the House Music, Instagram, Facebook. Check out the new album. I'm UnicusHarry across all the platforms, IG, Facebook, Twitter. So, you know, hit me up. And just like you said, you know, being at the right place at the right time is what Oracle Uno's doing right now. You know, keeping this hip hop thing moving. You know, you make beats, you rap, you do art. Like, you're the most awesome specimen of what this hip hop thing is. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Doing this podcast and getting the word out there and letting people know about Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul.
Dope.
All that.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, this has been episode number 22 of Organized Grind, the podcast with Oracle Uno, chilling with Unicus. We are going to end this show with the new Throw the House single. The song is called Trip the Light. There is a video on YouTube. Search Throw the House, Trip the Light. As always, peace and love.
Organized Grind with Oracle Uno. Recorded live at Grassroots Studios in South Minneapolis.
Hundreds travel that miles to the desert sand to witness a forbidden dance. Guests are led to a halo-shaped room. The scene is surreal. The air is filled with perfume. Floors made of marble and crushed gold flakes. Windows of oval shaped covered in diamond drapes. And the dance floor is surrounded by spectators.
With a glow that fills the room, you the sun and I the moon. Orbiting, entwining, wrapped in motion, gliding, rhythmic to the tune. In my eyes, romance is stored, passion seeping from your pores. Unsurpassed desire pouring over, crashing down, flooding the floor. Spotlight on the swinging sway, illuminate a fantasy. I could twirl in eternal circles, dancing my entire life away. Dizzy in your embrace, hunger and thirst and ache. You never break your gaze, and you don't dare take your hands off my waist.
Trip the light. Trip the light. Trip the light. We all night. Trip the light. Trip the light. Trip the light. We all night. Our bodies intertwined like a ribbon, turning and twisting, ain't nothing missing. Two halves make a whole, two hearts to behold, too hot to be cold, body parts lose control. And boogaloo and dance, heartbeat music, come take my hand. Two step towards the man, intensity rising, that's the plan. Your hips to win the wop, please don't stop. Sweat covers the floor, no need for a mop. The world's at our feet and we're on top. living on clouds and whatnot. Slipping and sliding, body grabbing. This moment here is worth having. Shaking and shaking, waving and waving. Ooh, I like the way you're misbehaving. Trip the light. Trip the light. Trip the light. We all night. Trip the light. Trip the light. Trip the light. We all night. My hands on your hips, moving like this. Romancy, you step 2 steps so fancy. My hands on your hips, moving like this. Romancy, you step 2 steps so fancy.
Spotlight on the swing and sway, illuminated fantasy. I could twirl in eternal circles, dancing my entire life away. Dizzy in your embrace, hunger and thirst and ache. You never break your gaze, and you don't dare take your hands off my waist.
Trip the light. Trip the light. Trip the light.